Hi guys, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. I'm Arving Gonzalez, and in this opportunity, I have a really good journalist, scout, baseball man joining me, Ben Badler from Baseball America, which for 41 years has been covering prospects all around USA and Latin America. And today we're going to talk about three prospects who are going to be drafted next week in the Dominican Winter League baseball. And before welcoming Ben, just a few things. It's 16 rounds. 16 are gonna picking every round, so 96 players, and the league is like 325 players, so there will be a lot then in free agency. And for a player to be able to be drafted to make the cut, he had to be playing at least single A by August 1st, which was 1 month or something ago. So thank you for joining me, Ben. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Arvin. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate this.
So I'm pretty sure you have watched a ton of LIDOM games, especially in the last couple of years. Like a bunch of prospects have been there: Wander Franco, Julio Rodriguez, Tatis Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Jr. What's your take? What's your impression on the league?
It's an awesome atmosphere to watch a game, and it's a great opportunity for prospects who are, like you said, especially with Tatis Jr. You could see, he was still so young. He'd already gotten a AA, and he was already like the leader of that team. He led them, deep into the playoff run, right? I think it was that year. So
yeah,
it's sometimes guys only play a little bit, but it's when they do get an opportunity to play, it's a really good opportunity for them to develop against players who have significant major league experience. Sometimes guys who are older playing in a very competitive, highly charged environment that you don't really get when you are playing in a AA game or a AAA game, where it doesn't really matter who wins or loses. But if you're Escogido versus you're going to a Dominican Winter League game, they really care who wins down there. So it's a very different competitive atmosphere for those players to be in, which I think is really good for their development.
absolutely. So for this draft, it's gonna be kind of different in a sense because there's talent. There's not like elite talent like last draft. It was Marcos Luciano who was drafted, or Elber Martinez from the Blue Jays. But right now there are like 5-6 guys who are in the top 10 prospect ranking for most of the publication, Baseball America, Baseball Prospectus, MLB Pipeline, and then the rest are a bunch of similar level players, and that's why I think 2016 was the last time we got a class like this. But today we're gonna take advantage of having Ben to talk about the top prospects, and let's begin with Adael Amador, who is playing for the Colorado Rockies in low A. You can see his numbers there. What can you tell us about him? Have you ever watched him in live games?
I've actually seen Adael Amador play since he was 14 years old. And he stood out to me at that time. That was the same class as, if you remember, like Byron Laura, Robert Poussin. Some of these guys got bigger money than Amador, but I always thought Amador he was one of the most polished, most skillful baseball players in that class. And if you just look at the speed or the power, I mean, he does have a lot of stolen bases this year, but I don't know that there's like a one tool that's going to jump out to you and wow you. But he's a very well-rounded player with very good instincts and feel for the game, especially at the plate. I mean, you can see it in his walk to strikeout ratio this year, significantly more walks than strikeouts this year as a 19-year-old in low A. I think he does a great job of controlling the strike zone, staying disciplined as a hitter. Switch hitter, his swing works really well from both sides of the plate. A lot of contact, good plate coverage, and you're starting to see some more power this year too. So, I don't know if it's shortstop long term, might be more second base, but you have a player who's going to play in the middle of the diamonds and is a very high on-base threat with a potential to hit, I think, 20, 25 home runs. So I think it's a very, very valuable player. It's a reason why we have him pretty high up our top 100 right now.
What's the ETA you think for him?
That's a good question. I don't think he gets to Colorado next year. I think 2023 might be a little fast, but I could see him there at some point in 2024. He's good enough. He'd only be 21 years old, I think, at that point, but he's talented enough to get to the big leagues, I think, in the next couple of years.
Just a very personal question. How do you rank LIDOM in terms of like the level? How is the level that you will assign LIDOM?
I think it's probably comparable to somewhere in the AA to AAA level. You don't see players who are in low A or high A really getting a lot of playing time in that league. Most of the players who are there are guys who are, at the AA or AAA level. A lot of veteran guys, a lot of guys who have big league experience. So, probably similar to a AAA or something comparable to that.
So he was playing low A this season. Maybe he's not that ready to impact a LIDOM team this upcoming season, right?
Yeah, I think, and especially for a lot of these guys who will get drafted, you're not necessarily looking for an impact right away this year, because like you said, he's only in low A. But I think next year you could see him having a more upper level experience. I think he'll probably finish next year, I would think, or at least get to AA at some point next year and be ready to make that jump against better competition.
Next player is pitcher is Ricky Tiedemann. He's playing for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's been pretty good this season. He's just 21 years old. He just turned like the past month. And like the sense first question, and I know the answer is going to be a yes. Have you ever seen him play?
Yeah, I saw him. Going back to when he was in high school too, and coming out of the draft last year when the Blue Jays took him out of junior college, he was 89 to 93 miles an hour with a really good changeup, and he's a really good athlete. And he's still a really good athlete with a really good changeup, and a pretty good slider now too. But last year at Instructional League, we were getting reports that he was throwing up to 98 miles an hour. He was 94 to 98. And I had to double check with my, contacts that I was speaking with. I was like, we're talking about Ricky Tiedemann, right? He's not, because he's not 94 to 98. They're like, no, he took a big jump at Instructional League. So we're like, okay, obviously Instructional League, you guys are only throwing in short stints. So you don't know how much of that is going to carry over into a starting role when he's stretched out, having to throw more innings. But that's been what he's been throwing pretty much this year. That velocity jump has been real, and it's been a huge advantage for him. It's been one of the reasons why he's been one of the bigger breakout pitching prospects in all of the minor leagues this year. So throws strikes. He's always had a really good changeup and been a really good athlete. Now he's got a lot more power behind his fastball too, and like you said, he's still pretty young too. So he's been one of the bigger breakout stories this year.
What can you tell us about his delivery? Like the consistency, is really like above expectations, according to.
Yeah, and I think his athleticism is something that helps him with that. Helps him repeat his mechanics, help him sync up his delivery and throw strikes pretty consistently. So I think he's a guy who could have above average control at the major league level.
So for guys who are not familiar with the Dominican Winter League, for the draft, there are it's not usual like things drafting pitchers in the first 3 rounds. There are few exceptions lately, but it's for guys that are like veterans who are like LIDOM ready. Like, I'm talking about guys above 25-year-old. Alexis Candelario was one of them. I can remember easily, and there are a few more. But like in terms of talent, pure talent, I think Tiedemann is the most talented pitcher of this class. And again, things are so like cautious with restrictions. Is he gonna pitch? Is he won't? And for that specific case, you may notice in the Baseball America stats page screenshot that I made that he was born in California, in Long Beach, but his mother is half Dominican and his maternal grandmother is from the Dominican Republic. In fact, Tiedemann, his brother, pitched last season with Escogido. He was drafted 2 years ago, so that's why.
Yeah, it's a really unusual situation. So, like you said, you have to, if you're drafting, you have to wonder, like you said, how much will the Blue Jays let him really pitch down there? It's got to be a major factor when you're drafting him. But obviously, like you said, the talent is top of the charts for the eligible pitchers down there.
Finally, we're gonna talk about position player, outfielder is Joshua Báez. He was drafted out of high school from Dexter Southfield, from Brookline, Massachusetts. And he's still too young. This is the youngest of the 3 guys we talked. He's 19 years old, and he just turned 19 3 months ago. And he's been doing pretty good this season in the Cardinal system. So you can see the stats, like at 385 OBP, that's huge, and almost a 500 slugging that gives you basically a 885, sorry, and just making the calculation, OPS, and he was signed by $2,200,000 in the second round in the 2021 draft. So Ben, what can you tell us about Baez from your experience?
Yeah, I've seen Baez a lot too, because his high school is real close to where I live. It's probably about the same distance from like Baseball City in Boca Chica, driving to the airport in Santo Domingo. So I got to see him play quite a bit. Really good athlete with a lot of power and a lot of physicality. He's, like I said, he's big, he's physical, he's athletic. He's got, plus raw power. He might end up having, 70 raw power one day on the 2080 scouting scale. So, we're talking about a potential 25 plus to 30 plus home run hitter. Now, the risk is that he does strike out quite a bit. There's a higher swing and miss rate, but like you said, so far this year, the performance has been good. I mean, he's been hurt, so he hasn't played a whole lot. So it is a smaller sample size, and with that performance, still has come some strikeouts. So it's something to certainly keep an eye on. But obviously, big time power and outstanding arm strength. I mean, he was throwing up to, I think, like 96, maybe 97 on the mound in high school. And I mean, he wasn't really, he kind of pitched. It was just sort of like, something he did for his high school team because he threw, mid 90s. So he can have a lot of success that way. But really his future is on the mound. So, it's a lot lot of upside, a lot of power potential with him as long as he can, keep the strikeout rate to a manageable level.
Yeah, as you can see here in the Baseball America profile, like Ben was telling you guys, so it's gonna be 70 strikeouts in just 173 at bats, and yeah, that's something really common when we talk about prospect rookies in their first 2 or 3 seasons. That's something that you gotta keep an eye on. But like the ceiling is high, right?
Yeah, and like with you think about with Baez, he's different than Amador, who, Amador grew up playing in the Dominican Republic, swinging wood bats, probably facing, players who were 3-4 years older than him and throwing, 88 to 92 miles an hour ever since he was 14 years old, or maybe even 13 years old. Whereas Joshua Báez was playing high school baseball up in Massachusetts and in the Northeast in the cold weather. He doesn't have the same level of probably, baseball experience, or at least facing the same level of competition consistently that somebody like Adael Amador has. So sometimes takes a little bit more patience with players like that from the Northeast, from these colder weather climates. So the strikeouts are still something you have to monitor and are going to have to come down for him, but a lot of power and upside there still if everything clicks for him.
Well, thank you so much, Ben, for joining me again. This episode was talking about 3 prospects from LIDOM draft. I have the pleasure to have Ben Badler from Baseball America, and I invite you to keep watching the channel. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe. I'm gonna be doing a lot of content in English about LIDOM. I think this is something that needs to be done. Cespedes Barbecue has been a really good job in the last couple of seasons, being like the biggest LIDOM ambassador in the USA, and I'm trying just to do my little part in this season from now on.
I love it. Thanks, Arving. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, have a good one, and again, keep a bang on the channel, and it will be like in another episode you're gonna be listening from another evaluators talking about the main prospect from LIDOM draft. Have a good one.